And my camera's froze. Give me 1 second, guys. What's going on, everybody? That's a shitty way to start. Hold on. Let me refresh my camera here. Boom, boom. There we go. Now we're good. I don't know what the heck happened there. Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're here. It's Wednesday. We're here to talk AEW Dynamite. Got Luke here with me. Luke, what's going on?
It's going all right. You know, on spring break, so I finally get to come back for a Dynamite review, which is kind of cool. I do feel like I'm a little out of the loop here because I haven't watched Dynamite in a while, which is kind of my fault. But I am back, and yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, my kid's at spring break next week. So they'll be off all next week and whatnot. I think, yeah, I'll probably do a couple extra or just random 2K streams with them too. I know me and Tyler are going to start a My GM series. I got to figure out when we're going to start filming that. We're going to do a video a week, see how that goes. So that should be really fun. But AEW Dynamite tonight, I had a number of friends that were there because they were in Fresno, where I'm from, where I used to live, basically where I grew up. And everyone that I talked to that was there said, hey, great crowd. Yes, the building was pretty empty because it's a 10,000 seat building with only about 2,100 people in it. But the crowd was hot, up, lively for everything all night. So far, I haven't talked to anybody as far as like the ROH tapings and whatnot, but they said great crowd, fun show to be at. And yeah, so I thought it came off really well on TV. Easy to watch. It flowed very well. To me, one of the better Dynamites, I will say. One of the better Dynamites that we've seen recently. You know, I'm very critical of AEW, and I'm just like, a lot of their stuff feels random and what the hell. But no, tonight was better. I thought tonight was good. I wouldn't call it great or anything, but I thought it was good, and we're building towards the future. We're building towards Dynasty. We're starting to build towards All In. So here's my question to you. You think it's Will Ospreay challenging for the title at All In, winning the Owen?
Very possible. Honestly, I have no clue. I'd say, I got it. I think it might be Ospreay versus maybe Darby.
Well, no, Darby's not winning that title before All In. So, because Darby's going to climb Mount Everest, and he won't be back in time. He'll be back in time for All In, I believe, maybe, but not to do anything really before. I just lost. I don't hear you. You're cutting in and out. I don't know if it's a me issue or a you issue. I don't know. It's cutting in and out now.
You want me to try?
Oh, wait. You're good now.
Am I good?
Yep, you're good.
But when's he supposed to be back from Mount Everest?
That I don't know. I just know that he's training now and he's going to go climb Mount Everest. No one really knows when, but the plan has always been for him to work All In. Because he said it when they did the ticket thing. He's like, I'll be back here in Texas for the show. So the plan's always been for him to be back in time to work All In. But I don't know when he's going to be back. But I don't think Darby wins the title beforehand. I mean, the plan, at least I don't know if it's the plan, but there had always been talks of, hey, Darby the one to take the title off of Moxley. But now they might be going a different direction with that.
It might be going with Ospreay.
Yeah, and Ospreay's the first one to announce that he will be in the Owen Cup and did confirm that for the second year in a row, the winner of the Owen will get a title shot at All In. So that was something that we were wondering. We were wondering if that is going to be a thing, if that is going to be the move that they do for the second year in a row, as they did last year with Bryan Danielson winning and then moving on to beating Swerve. And that's the other thing. Is it going to be Ospreay? Say Ospreay's the winner of the Owen. Is it Ospreay and Cope? Highly doubt it. Is it Ospreay and Moxley? Most likely. Is it Ospreay and Swerve? Good chance it's that as well. Because we know Swerve is getting the title shot at Dynasty. So, very interesting next, 3 months? April, May, June, 3.5-ish months, maybe 4. Yeah, actually, 4 months. So I think it's 4 months from today. When again is All In again? All In I want to say it's the weekend of it's the 12th. So literally 4 months from today, April, May, June, July. 4 months from today is AEW All In. So we'll see. I still don't know if I'm going or not. I mean, it's an easy 4-hour drive and I got a free place to stay, but we'll see. I might be going, I might not. Good thing about it being in Dallas is not only is it an easy 4-hour drive, not only do I have a free place to stay, but I also got a place where I can jump right on as soon as I get back to the house and do a podcast like quickly. You don't have to worry about getting back home because my buddy, business partner, he's got a full setup like I do, just live stream and everything. So that's the positive about it being in Dallas. It's very convenient for me, but we'll see how it all does go. Still not sure if I'm going to go. Good chance. So with all of that, I want to say thank you for joining me here, or us here, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Just remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing over on YouTube. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. And that way you know when we post to the community tab. Also, remember, you can help us out by hitting the join button and becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access to podcast stuff. You get emotes you can use, live watch-alongs. You get graphic stuff, and so much more. You can get it here on YouTube by hitting the join button or at patreon.com/PW Unlimited. Also, remember, if you want to use your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. If you're getting that brand new Split Fiction game that's getting rave reviews, maybe you want Grand Theft Auto 5 Enhanced Edition because you're like, man, I never played Grand Theft Auto 5. I can't wait for Grand Theft Auto 6. Let's just jump into this now. And I mean, I don't know. Have you played Grand Theft Auto 5, Luke? No? Dang.
I think the only Grand Theft Auto I played was like an app on my phone.
Damn, you're like one of 2 people that I've ever talked to that said they've never played Grand Theft Auto 5. Everybody else I've talked to that I know plays video games is like, oh yeah, I've played it. Like, I know people that haven't played it because they don't play video games. But it's like everybody I know that plays video games, at least has like a PlayStation or an Xbox or something. Dang, you're like one of two. One of two.
I'm just not big on Grand Theft Auto 5 because the only thing I ever do on Grand Theft Auto 5 is just try not to get arrested.
Right. The story's really good. I did enjoy the story. I will say that. I did enjoy the story. Replaying between, and I like the balance of switching between the 3 main characters and everything too. That was really good. So can't wait for Grand Theft Auto 6. But if all the rumors are correct and that game's going to be $100 for the base game, oof, yeah, no, thank you. Ain't paying that. Also, guys, I'm not sure when, but we're going to be starting a Last of Us Part 2 replay because I've already streamed it and played it once, but I want to replay it before the show comes back for season 2. That is April 13th. So I think probably this weekend and like every Sunday that there's not a wrestling pay-per-view, I might go live and do parts of Last of Us Part 2 till because it's like 20 something hours to get through the whole story. I can't remember how long it took me to beat it the first time. I've played through it twice from start to finish. I've played through Last of Us 2 twice. It's one of my favorite games. So yeah, we'll be doing a replay stream of that, or multiple streams to get through that before Last of Us Part 2 or Last of Us Season 2 comes out April 13th on HBO and Max, which I can't wait for. Did you watch Season 1? Jeez, you're missing out. One of the best shows ever. As far as like, everyone always says HBO makes the best shows. Well, this is right up there with some of the best HBO stuff you've ever seen. Game of Thrones, Sopranos, Last of Us. That's like the 3 best things I've ever seen on HBO. and it's awesome. Can't wait for season 2. And with no spoilers, I'm just going to say the thing that happens. Oh my God, the internet that doesn't know what happens in game. I'm just going to say this. When the big thing happens in season 2 that people that never played the game don't know about, I can't wait for Twitter to just, or all social media, Blue Sky, Threads, whatever people are posting on, to just lose their minds when the big thing happens. Because, like, yeah, when it happened in the game and everyone was like losing, man, I don't want to spoil anything, even though it's a 5-year-old game now. When did that game come out? 2018 or something like that? But no, 2019, maybe. Regardless, I can't wait for people's reactions to season 2 of Last of Us. And they've already said this show, and I know we're getting off topic here, the show's going probably 4 seasons at least, because they say that you're not even getting to the last hour of the game probably until season 4. So that's what Neil Druckmann said last week. The last hour of the game when they finally travel to California, that's all I'll say. He said that's probably not even going to be anything till season 4. So can't wait for that. But with all of that, we got AEW Dynamite to talk about, which kind of is a tie-in because, like, Dynamite streams on Max. Last of Us streams on Max. So I wonder, ooh, that'd be really cool. And we've seen it before. I wonder if Warner Brothers Discovery will have AEW do any like special Last of Us tie-in promotional things. We've seen it before with like Shark Week and other Game of Thrones, like the Hot D, whatever it's called, House of the Dragon. We've seen some tie-ins there. So I wonder if they have AEW do any kind of tie-in or special promotion sponsored match thing for Last of Us Season 2 coming up in April. That would be cool. Just don't do it like WWE did with that Batista Netflix movie and bring zombies in for a freaking lumberjack match. Just don't do that. Because that sucked. Miz and Damian Priest. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
WrestleMania Backlash.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
And then like all the zombies like ate Miz.
Mm-hmm. So with all of that, as far as tonight's show does go, they were in the Save Mart Center in Fresno, California. I had a number of friends there, again, like I said earlier, that said it was a very good crowd, very good show to watch live. So, hey, I would have been there if I didn't move. AEW comes on the air with Excalibur welcoming us alongside Taz and immediately throwing it to the intro of the new international champion, Kenny Omega, who makes his intro. He had the battle cry theme, which I was like, yes, thank you. Because, like, the other theme, the new theme, it's cool. Done by the Final Fantasy composer and whatnot. But battle cry is the theme. That's the Kenny theme that we all love. I don't know if you're, and I'm not a big theme guy, but I don't know if you have a preference, the new one or battle cry. But it got a huge pop. Kenny got a huge pop coming out with pyro and everything.
Who was the composer for Battle Cry? Because the video that they made for like, when it first came out looks awesome.
I don't know, but I can find the guy's YouTube really fast. Hold on. Can you make a Battle Cry? It is. I want to say his name's Little V, maybe. Yeah, Little V is the guy that made the song for Kenny. I believe that's the guy, Little V.
Yeah, because the music video for it looks awesome because they added like this like retro Omega like Kenny video game part to it that looks sick. And there's like spots of like him training in the snow.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Wait, maybe this isn't the guy that made it. Hold on. Maybe this is just the guy that did a cover of it. Because this is the guy that I always see when people go, "Oh my God, Kenny's theme is so good. Thank this guy." I don't know if he's the actual one. Oh no, yeah, pretty sure it's him. He said, "Thank you for Kenny. Thanks to Kenny Omega for giving me the opportunity to work on this." So I think he's the one that composed and made and wrote and did the theme. But yeah, great theme song. One of my favorites of current wrestlers. Omega comes out and said that this is all still wild to him. As before 2025, he was more than happy just to stand in the ring and say, "Hey, I'm cleared." He said, "What makes it feel like a dream is that, well, we're barely into this year. But thanks to the fans, doctors, someone he never thought he'd call a friend, Will Ospreay, not only is he back, but he's back as a champion, nonetheless a singles champion. One final person he needs to thank," he said, "controversial as it may be, well, Konosuke Takeshita, who pushed him harder than he's ever imagined. He said if it wasn't for Takeshita dragging him to a place that he needed to be, he wouldn't be here in front of these people. So he thanks Takeshita for making this truly a thing of dreams." Omega then brought up Tony Khan coming to him and saying, "Hey, who's going to challenge you for the title? Maybe we do a tournament, an eliminator deal." And he thought that was a great idea. Do a little tournament to crown the next number one contender. As it will be determined, he said it will be determined over the next couple of weeks. He said he's very, very happy and looking forward to see who he gets to defend the title against first at Dynasty. He then did his goodbye, good night, as he signed some autographs and gave high fives in the crowd. And then as he was ready to leave, out came the Ops for their match. What do you think of Omega's little promo to kick off the show here?
Wasn't bad. I thought Kenny kicking off the show was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. A little different because AEW usually likes to start with a match, but it was a little bit different starting off with the promo. More promos than normal on this show tonight. It felt, and maybe that's why I liked it more, it felt more like a WWE show, like format-wise.
I have always been a big person on like starting out a show with a promo, especially if someone just became like a new champion.
Right. Now, granted, we don't need those WWE 30-minute opening promo segments they used to get in like 2019, 2020.
Yeah, we don't need those, but like a quick like 5-minute, 10-minute promo.
This was like 8 to 10 minutes max, I want to say. So, yeah, this was very, very good and effective. Crowd got to see Kenny Omega live, and there we go. Because I don't think because before Kenny would work a lot. I think, after the diverticulitis and all that stuff, I think Kenny's going to really be more reserved in how many matches he actually has and does. It's unfortunate, but hey, as long as we keep getting to see him wrestle, that's the best thing. He's got to be limited, then let him be limited. But speaking of keeping it quick, Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata, well, they kept this really quick with Eli Thesis, Vinny Pacifico, and Gabriel Arrows, where I think Shibata kicked Vinny Pacifico a little too hard in the face and chipped one of his teeth. It looked like it, at least. Well, this match went like 4 or 5 minutes at the most, and I'm counting intros. Joe is a huge chant as he lit up Thesis in the corner with some strikes and kicks. Hook then tagged in. I'm getting a little annoyed with Excalibur. He could just call him Hook, but every time Hook does something, oh, the handsome devil. Oh, the handsome devil. Oh, the handsome devil. I'm like, okay, cool. That's his nickname. But after he says it 5 times in a 2-minute span, it's a little much. Hook tags in, launches Arrows around with a series of throws before Pacifico tried running in and starting things off, but Hook tripped him up, allowing Shibata to tag in and hit his signature stalling drop kick. There's a rear naked choke that led to a hard-looking PK, and Shibata got the win easily here. Quick little warm-up match as Shibata will be in the International Title Eliminator Tournament coming up this weekend on Collision against Ricochet. What'd you think of the match?
The match was kind of really.
You're cutting in and out again. Now I don't hear anything. Nope. Nothing. Ricochet is backstage. He said, despite being screwed at Revolution, doesn't mean his quest for gold is over as he's in the tournament to challenge for the International Championship. He said, I didn't even want that stupid robe anyways. He said, but the gold Kenny Omega is holding looks a lot better than the world title. So that's what he's going for. Ricochet knows what Shibata is capable of, so he's giving him an option to quit before they even have the match. If not, he won't be responsible for what happens on Saturday. You good?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Okay. So what'd you think of the match and then the Ricochet promo?
The match I thought it was just there.
Hmm.
But the promo, I thought the Ricochet promo was pretty good.
Yeah. But it was basically just the match itself was just a, hey, Shibata's going to pick up a win because he's got a big match on Saturday, which is fine.
Yeah. But do you feel like Ricochet should have won, though, against Swerve? Or do you think Swerve winning was the right move?
With the world title, so Swerve winning was the right move as far as it being a number one contenders match for a world title shot. Ricochet is perfect going for the international title. I don't think he's elevated enough yet for the world title. He's getting there. Like, they're doing a really good job pushing him. But A, if it's Moxley, then you kind of need the babyface anyways. And B, like I said, he's a good heel to go for Kenny's title, which I wouldn't be against him winning this tournament. And then we get Kenny Omega and Ricochet, which would be really good. So, yeah, I think we need a heel to go after Kenny and a babyface to go after Moxley. So I think Swerve winning was the right call. We got a highlight package just recapping Revolution and some of the stuff that happened there. We're then told that, and this was just random out of nowhere. Next week, Jon Moxley will be defending the AEW World Championship against Adam Copeland, or Cope, in a street fight because of the way the match ended at the pay-per-view. I'm like, what? What? Because Christian cashed in, and then Christian's the one. Because Cope says it later. Oh, I never lost. Oh, well. Did Brock Lesnar get a rematch when he lost at WrestleMania 31 when god dang Seth Rollins cashed in his briefcase and pinned Roman? So, go away with that bullshit. We don't need to see another Moxley Cope match. Like, I couldn't care for Moxley Cope again. I didn't care going into Revolution, and I don't care next week, especially because it's a street fight. Because that means, well, a lot of Death Rider bullshit, probably. Actually, probably Christian getting involved too, based off of his promo later. Because Christian's like, give me my goddamn contract back. That's not how it was supposed to. We'll talk about that. Christian came off like a goddamn idiot.
Right?
Yeah, did you not see his promo where he goes, I signed the contract thinking I was getting a one-on-one match with Cope, and then I didn't, and that's not fair. I'm like, with Cope? Cope wasn't even the champion, you moron.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, and then Nick Wayne laughing at him, making fun of him. We'll get to it. Because that was probably one of the worst things on the show. Because it was just, I get what they're trying to do. They're eventually slowly trying to pull Nick Wayne away from Christian, but that wasn't the way to do it. Because you make Christian just look like the dumbest geek possible. But speaking of Cope, he walks in and says, I didn't lose. There's still a chance that I become the champion before Dynasty. And I'm like, no, you did lose. Regardless if the match got turned into a triple threat or not, you still lost. Because you didn't actually... Now, here's the thing. He's like, I didn't lose. Well, technically you did lose when you didn't stop Moxley from winning. You didn't stop Moxley from having Christian in the choke and choking him out. So, if you didn't actually, prevent somebody else from winning, then you're the loser. Anyways, he tells Strickland, there's a good chance it's me and you across the ring at the pay-per-view, and I'm looking forward to it. Strickland said that's exactly what he wants. And they fist bumped, and they say that they nod out of respect and hope they face each other. So, do you think Swerve gets in? I think next week's street fight's going to be just a big mess.
It is.
And that's the one thing, and I hate shitting on AEW, but whenever we get street fights in AEW, and they use the term street fight, it's usually because they're telling us, hey, there's going to be a lot of bullshit. Most of the time.
Got that right.
Especially when it's a Death Riders match. So,
oh, yeah.
Because I can see Christian getting involved, all the Death Riders, Swerve, heck, maybe even Switchblade, Jay White. So it's like, there's too many people involved in this that just, I don't know. And maybe I'm just overthinking it, and it's going to be a fine match. So, but speaking of Moxley cut a promo. Backstage said the rated R superstar thinks he's lucky to have walked away from Revolution. Well, I walked away with the title. Moxley said that he should never been in this position in the first place. He should have put Cope out of his misery before Christian was even able to get into the match. Moxley hurt Cope, who was sucking wind. Couldn't turn his neck, but he still came forward again and again. Whatever Cope is made of is rare, and I admire that because he wouldn't give up. But you can take the rules, countouts, disqualifications, whatever you want. Cope can take the rules. Moxley will take his excuses, and they'll fight next week. Moxley underestimated Cope's grit. And no matter what avalanches befall him, there's a reason why Moxley is still the champion. There's a difference between amateurs and professionals. The difference is Moxley never makes the same mistake twice. Just the appearance of Moxley on the big screen got a lot of boos from the live crowd, and I was told that as well, because I text my friends, I'm like, hey, are these real boos or piped in boos? And they're like, oh no, this crowd's booing hard for Jon Moxley's promo. So that was really good to hear. Basically, it was just another, I run this place and I can't lose promo from Moxley. What'd you think?
Just an ordinary Moxley promo.
Mm-hmm. So we had Powerhouse Hobb and Hologram defeating Brian Cage and Dralistico. Brian Cage got a good reaction because he's not from Fresno, but Fresno considers him one of their own because when he was breaking into the business, he was living in Fresno doing a lot of his bodybuilding stuff. Like it was in his bodybuilding phase before he was like full-time in wrestling. And so Fresno does call Brian Cage like one of their own. And so he got a good reaction here and lost in Fresno, which really sucked. But the match came about earlier today, which I didn't even see this match get announced until like an hour before the show. They're like, here's the rundown. And I'm like, where the hell did this tag match come from? Because like throughout the day, they were announcing like, oh, the tournament's going to come. Will Ospreay will be on the show. Tony Storm will be on the show. And then just randomly right before the show, this tag match was announced. I'm like, oh, sure. Why not? But basically they were calling it like 2 grudge matches in one, I guess. Hobbs wanted revenge on Cage, and Hologram wanted revenge on Dralistico. And Hologram had Harley Graham out there with him. But as far as the matches go, Hobbs wasted no time going after Cage on the outside, as Hologram and Dralistico picked things up where they left off 1 week ago on Collision. Taz talked about the history of Hobbs and Cage and Team Taz, and once being, teammates and now being adversaries. He's like, but those days, Team Taz days, yeah, they're long gone. There's some hard chops fired off by Dralistico as Hologram picked up the pace, trading arm drags and leg sweeps. Dralistico again went to rip off the mask, similar to what he did last week, but he was before tagging in Cage. Hologram then sent Dralistico packing, but was picked up for the Gorilla Press Slam by Cage, only for Hologram to counter it into a Hurricane Rana. After a commercial break, Beast Mortos, who was at ringside, is putting the boots outside to Hologram, and I'm like, where's the ref? Why is Mortos beating up Hologram? This makes no sense. And then Harley tries to get in the way. She tries to make the save before swiveling her hips to run distraction. And it works. Dralistico then had to pull his LIJ faction member away because he was entranced by the body of Harley Cameron. Back in the ring, Hologram fired off a thrust kick. Dralistico responded with a crucifix bomb, only for Hologram to answer with a moonsault and a fall-away slam. Hobbs was tagged in, who ragdolled Dralistico before Meat Chance led to Hobbs and Cage clashing in the ring. Hobbs then ducked a lariat, hit a standing splash, and a snap power slam for a near fall. At one point, Cage hit a German suplex and a thrust kick combo. Hologram then flew in with a pop-up dropkick on Cage, snap Rana on Dralistico, and tried it on Cage, only to get power bombed into Hobbs in the corner. Cage incredibly hit a suplex from the apron back inside the ring as Jalisco flew in with a drop kick and barely clipped Hobbs. Coming down towards the end of the match, they're fighting in the ring. Jalisco and Hobbs had a somewhat awkward exchange before Jalisco tried a springboard, but Hobbs countered into a spinebuster midair and pinned him to pick up the victory. So there we go. The baby faces do get the win. What do you think of the match itself?
Match was decent. I thought it was all right. What'd you think?
I liked it. I thought it was a good, just, you got 4 guys out there. They got problems with each other. And so instead of because Tony Khan a lot of times will be like, these guys got problems and these guys got problems. And he tries to book too many matches at once. So I liked the tag aspect of it. Yes, it did still feel random because it's like, well, these aren't guys that normally tag together. But at least he didn't just do a bunch of different matches and he condensed it. Because that's been Tony Khan's big thing, is too many matches sometimes. Then we got Don Callis family after. You later say something?
Nah.
Oh. Then we got the Don Callis family coming out after Lance Archer and Mark Davis, who they keep trying to tell us Mark Davis doesn't want to be in the Don Callis family, but then he just is out there being a heel and doing the bad things. So I'm like, this guy barely ever shows any resistance on, well, you want me to beat that guy up, but I don't know. You want me to, I don't think I should. No. He came out there with Archer and helped Cage, and they just beat down Hobbs. Kind of. They kind of tried to, and then they kind of all just stared at each other. So it was very weird. I don't know. But then Alicia, too, there was an interview from last Saturday. Alicia, too, interviewed the Hurt Syndicate. They're basically like, hey, P, who's asked we going to beat next? Who's in line for the tag titles? And MVP's like, don't worry about it. But I got you guys some time off because you deserve it. We got Miami, or not Miami. We got Malibu, close. Vegas, not too far away. Guys go live it up, but not too hard. Because no one works harder than the Hurt Syndicate. So go play and then come back and we'll do our thing. And Lashley's like, I'm going to go to the gym. And MVP's like, no. Take the week off. And Shelton's like, what? Going to the gym is like us take the week off. We love going to the gym. He's like, all right, do what you're going to do. But basically, they were telling us Benjamin and Lashley are not at the show tonight. They wanted us to know that they were not there. They then did a great video package recapping the Mariah May Toni Storm match that I still think should have main evented the show. Ben Markowitz again made a brief cameo highlighting the story as well. And this is really good. Good little recap going, hey, if you didn't see the match, here's the key moments of it. You might want to go back and watch it. And this leads right into a Toni Storm promo that was kind of a nothing promo, but at least at the end set up her next challenger, we assume. Toni Storm comes out and says, with stitches in my lip, staples in my head, and glass in my ass, which she didn't mention getting glass in her vagina. Storm said that she stands before you here, the tramp, still the champ. Revolution was here, and my Hollywood ending, as a chunk of heart is gone forever. But looking at the AEW Women's title, this was all worth it. It's time for a new beginning, she said. It's her honor to be the AEW Women's World Champion because this is the most talented locker room in all of professional wrestling. There are so many champions. And I'm like, yeah, there is. Way too many goddamn champions. And she starts kind of mentioning different ones. She's like, we got one that keeps their title in a bloody briefcase. Another that's a belt collector. When you fight the Storm, it's like visiting the zoo. She bleeds like a pig, licks like a giraffe, and she will eat you like a lion. Storm promises you'll never hear her meow. And promises, I ain't no pussy. Nobody swings like Toni Storm. So ladies, put your keys in the bowl and let's get this orgy started. And I'm just like, fuck me.
What promo is this?
Oh, no. It was, it's wild. It's the start of a porno.
There's children in the stands, for God's sakes. I hope. I mean, I
there were kids. There were kids there. When my buddy brought his 13-year-old son.
Seriously, man. Come on.
She said, it will be messy, sweaty, and it will always be timeless. And then she poses and poses and poses and poses. And I'm like, that's fucking it. That's fucking. And then eventually Megan Bayne comes out and attacks her from behind. I'm like, okay, Megan Bayne, you missed your cue by about 10 seconds because Tony stood there for a while. But yeah, no, this promo was wacky, wild, and all over the place. Because at first I'm like, okay, she's just saying, hey, I'm glad to still be the champion. Maybe I thought when she said we've got one champion here that's a belt collector, I thought they were setting up her and Mercedes. When she's like, we have one champion who's somewhat of a belt collector. And I'm like, oh, you and Mercedes Monet? Really? Champion versus champion? But then, yeah, no, she really, yeah. It was a something else promo, I will say that. I'll say this was not PG. Granted,
those are truth when you need them.
Granted, though, she used the words in the right context and I have to get censored. Because, like she said, I'm no pussy. Where it's like, hey, I mentioned meowing. I'm talking about a cat. So she used the words in the right. Clever for her, using the words in the right way where they didn't have to censor her. But yeah, no, this was crazy. Now here's my question though: has Megan Bayne really been built up enough to go for the Women's World Championship? So she's been in AEW for the 2 months now, 2 full months. She's had 5 matches. Lost her first one, which was the gauntlet match, which I say throw out, doesn't matter, doesn't count. She's won the other 4. 3 singles and 1 tag match. But yeah, no. I don't think she's at the level yet to challenge for the world title. So, we'll see.
Like,
go for it.
I don't even know if there's any woman in AEW right now who's like ready for Tony. Like ready for like next in line.
Here, let's pull up the roster. I got it right here.
I mean, unless you want to go Mercedes Monet.
Well, that's what I was thinking. That's what I thought they were building to. By the way, she was talking about, there's all these other champions here. One's a belt collector. And I'm just like, oh, they're really setting up. Because right now, the big hot thing in wrestling to do is champion versus champion matches. It seems like that's what a lot of people and companies like to do right now. And so I'm like, oh, they're really going to set up TBS champion versus Women's World Champion? Nope. So we look at the roster here. We got the AEW Women's roster. It's like you look at all these women, and none of them, like you even said, none of them feel like they've been built up enough to challenge for the world title. Like the only one, and it's probably just because she's over with the crowd, is Willow. Like Willow is somebody that you can always just throw in there and it'll get over. Like they do have that. They do have that ace in their pocket with Willow Nightingale, to where you can throw her in any feud and storyline and the fans will not shit on it because it's Willow. So that is always a positive. But again, that would be babyface versus babyface though. But when we look at like females and heel females at that, like none of them feel at the level of challenging for the world title at all. So, yeah. I really don't even know. They're just throwing shit at the wall at this point.
Basically.
As we move forward, we had a debut. Beast Mortos came out for his match in the International Eliminator Tournament. And when I was previewing the show earlier, I'm like, they're making a point to state, this guy's from Mexico and these guys are representing Japan and this and that, but there was no representative of Canada. So when I was like, who can the wild card be? I thought either Mike Bailey or Josh Alexander, and it was Speedball Mike Bailey. So I think most people probably predicted it would have been one of the two.
Yeah. It was probably Speedball.
Yeah, no. This match was really good. Speedball got a great reaction from the crowd, so it was good to see that the fans knew who he was. And it was funny because he's coming out there, and Excalibur starts talking about, I've called so many different Speedball Mike Bailey matches, and he's won titles all over the world, Mexico, Japan, but never mentions, multi-time champion in TNA. They just don't mention TNA at all anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna mention TNA for a while.
Yeah, no.
I'm being honest.
So that's a thing. Because it was like, he's won. How many times was he X Division champion? Mike Bailey. Let's see. 3-time X Division champion. It's like you could say right there, won titles in the United States, 3-time X Division champion. And yeah, that's the only title he won in TNA. But still, it's like, what? Him and Jake something were former Deadlock Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. So yeah. I don't know.
Not gonna lie, I'm kind of surprised he didn't consider signing with WWE, which wasn't there like a rumor that he signed with WWE like last year, but then the hiring freeze like canceled his like hiring process?
No, that was Switchblade Jay White, that he was going to sign with WWE, and this was not last year. It was 2 years ago, right before WrestleMania 39. So the thing was, WWE wanted Switchblade. They apparently, like, I don't know all the details, but like it was almost a done deal. And then Vince came in and said, we ain't hiring nobody new right now. And they basically ghosted him. So that's what happened. And then they brought in all the they brought in Tama Tonga Takealoa and Jacob Fatu not long after that. So it's like, what? There's no goddamn hiring freeze. Carlito then came in. So yeah.
Oh, we know. Maybe Vince just came in and said, I don't want this guy because he's too small.
No, what it was Vince came in and said, we're trying to sell the company. We can't have any new money going out as far as like signing guys to big deals or any new kind of deal. You know what I mean? That's what it was. Vince wanted the books to look very good for potential buyers. So he didn't want any more money being spent that didn't have to be spent at the moment till the sale was finalized. That's what it all was. Which, I mean, it makes sense. If you're going to a company and saying, hey, we spend, 1.1 billion a year. You don't want to go back and go, hey, what's this new thing here? You're paying another guy a couple $100,000 a year. Now you're at 1.2. Never mind. I don't know. But yeah, that was the whole thing that Vince came in and said, we don't want any new hires right now until after the sale. And then they brought in Carlito, which, okay, whatever. But as far as this match does go, this is really, really good. Good match. Crazy fast series started off. Bayley fired off some stiff kicks to drop Mortos. Rapid fire kicks sent Mortos to the outside, but Bayley missed a moonsault off the apron, landed on his feet. Mortos mowed him down. Bayley was able to battle back with more kicks before heading back inside. He rolled through a top rope attack, low-bridged Mortos back to the outside, where he hit a somersault dive to take things to the break. And so this match is going on, and I get a text from one of my friends that's there going, I've never seen this guy before, but if he was about 6 inches taller, he'd be a world champion. He's just a little too short. He's like, this guy is coming off like a massive star, and he is smooth. And he's never seen a Mike Bailey match before. So, like, first impressions, really, really good. He's like, the only thing I see wrong with this guy is he's too short. Which, how tall is Mike Bailey? He looks like he's like 5'5". He is Mike Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey height. 5'8". More than I thought. 2 inches shorter than me, so yeah. He's about Danielson's height, Brian Danielson. I think he's like 5'10". So, but yeah, that was a funny text I got. Like, this guy is great. He'd be a world champion if he was just a little taller.
Who was it again?
Who? What do you mean?
Like a little taller?
Bailey. We're talking about Speedball.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's fine. I mean, personally, I don't know if I see him as like a future world champion in AEW. I don't know if I see that.
Well, because he was saying off, first impressions of seeing him in a match and the way the crowd is reacting to him in his first night in the company. He's like, if this guy was just a little bit bigger, he's getting like he's throwing off like world champion vibes and reactions and stuff. So, I mean, that's good for someone's first impression of him to think, hey, this guy could be a world champion one day.
I mean, I could totally see him being a future TNT world champion.
Oh, TNT champion, international champion for sure. I mean, I would not be opposed, and I don't know if they wanted to be a heel or not going against Omega. I wouldn't be opposed, and he won't beat Omega. I don't think Omega drops the belt at all at Dynasty, but I wouldn't be opposed to Speedball winning this tournament and challenging Omega at the pay-per-view. Then we get Speedball Mike Bailey versus Kenny Omega. That match would be great. especially on pay-per-view.
I think it's either going to be Speedball Mike Bailey or is Ricochet in the tournament?
Yeah, Ricochet faces Shibata on Saturday.
I think it's either going to be Speedball or Ricochet.
I'm going to pull up the full bracket here. I have the graphic.
Well, Shibata just lost the title, so I don't think he's not going to win the tournament.
Why can't I? Oh, wrong folder. That's why. I have the graphic here. It is. Oh, nope. That didn't want to open. Why did not want to open? Here we go. It wants to go. It doesn't want to open now. There it is. So as far as this tournament does go, we'll get back to talking to the match here in a second. So as we see here, we have Orange Cassidy versus Hechicero, which happened tonight. Wild Card versus Beast Mortos, which was Speedball Mike Bailey. Then on Saturday, it's Shibata and Ricochet, and then Mark Briscoe and Mark Davis. So I would assume Ricochet beats Shibata, Briscoe beats Mark Davis, and then we go to a 4-way next week on Dynamite. So then, if we're thinking, that it would be Orange Cassidy, Mike Bailey, Ricochet, Mark Briscoe in the 4-way. Who wins that? I'm thinking either Bailey or Ricochet. Which, if you really want, I probably think Ricochet because they probably want a heel going against Omega.
Yeah.
That's what I would think.
I mean, Ricochet versus Omega, whew,
that'd be great.
Be an amazing match.
Oh, yeah. That'd be really, really good.
I mean, Ricochet's not going to win, which I do feel kind of bad because I feel like ever since Ricochet's been in AEW, he's been losing a lot.
Losing a lot, but not in a bad way where it's hurting him, because he's still getting over as a, upper mid-card, almost top-level heel.
Yeah.
But I feel like even though he's losing, he's not losing in a way where it's just they're burying him and the fans don't care. He still gets good reactions, as we saw later with the reaction, or earlier, the reaction of his promo. But as far as this match does go, we come back from a break, and Mortos had gained control with a twisting tornillo. Bailey was back in the driver's seat, though, not long after, with a running shooting star for a 2. Mortos then seemingly dodged a high kick, taking a powder, but ate a pump kick on the apron, leading to a springboard moonsault to the floor from Bailey, and this looked cool. Like, this springboard moonsault was smooth. He did a couple of them that looked very smooth. Back inside the ring, Bailey hit a Liger bomb for a near fall as he went to the top, missed a shooting star, rolled through, but he's then sent into a pop-up Samoan drop by Mortos. They got a 2. Mortos was up top now, but took too long. Bailey swept the leg. Both battled until Mortos hit a massive avalanche press slam for a wild near fall. Bailey at one point avoided some strikes, traded some slaps with Mortos, and was in a torture rack backbreaker discus lariat that turned Bailey inside out. Mortos then went for the home run powerbomb, but Bailey rolled through into a Hurricane Rana and a PK. There's a moonsault knee drop that he does that loaded it up, got him the win, and there he goes. So he hit the knee drop, hit a high-speed roundhouse kick, and defeated Mortos to advance in the tournament. I thought this was a really good match, and these two worked very well together. What'd you think?
Oh yeah, this is a good match. I liked it. Yeah, two worked pretty well together.
So then
I almost
go for it.
Never mind. I forgot what I was gonna say.
So then we're here at this goddamn Christian segment. And oh boy, was this just, oh my God.
The stuff that was said in this segment, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is terrible.
So Renee Burkett was backstage with the Patriarchy and asked about Christian's failed cash-in at Revolution. Occasionally goes, I refuse to speak about anything related to John Moxley, to somebody related to John Moxley. So Renee, this is going to be the worst interview ever if you're still here. And Renee takes the hint and is like, all right, screw it, I'm leaving. And she walks away. Because he's like, I'm not going to talk to some blonde that's not smart. Get out of my sight. So she leaves as Christian says, I'm still the next upcoming undisputed AEW World Champion, and I demand to have my contract returned to me. He said, I signed that for a singles world title match against Cope, not a 3-way. And I go, are you the biggest fucking dumbest idiot in the world? First off, okay, if you say I signed it thinking I was going to turn it into a singles match for the title, that's one thing. But not against Cope, because Cope was not the champion, you doofus. Moxley was the champion. Cage then goes, well, also, I need it back because I didn't lose. I never tapped out. The ref just said I stopped breathing, but that's not the case. And Nick Wayne starts kind of laughing. And Christian's like, what's so funny? And he's like, stop. Quit lying. Quit making up excuses. If you would have just stuck to the plan, you'd be world champion. No, you wanted to go out there and you wanted to change things up from what you told us you were going to do originally. And Cage said he's sorry. It's come to this. And he pushes Nick Wayne against the wall. But his mom gets in the way. And she's like, hey. And he's like, what are you going to do about it? Do something and you'll be back working the midnight shift at Waffle House. So she walks back away. Cage then asks who Nick thinks he is, questioning his tactics. How many world titles have you ever won? How many world titles did your biological father ever win? Nick should be thanking Cage that he found him and didn't end up a coward like his father, who died in front of his mother's face. Cage said he'll be AEW World Champion if it's the last thing he ever does, and said, Nick, keep your mouth shut and ride the coattails of me, because if this happens again, it will not end the same way. Cage walks off. Kip Sabian kind of looks like, oh shit, what the fuck just happened? And then he finally walks off and goes with Christian Cage, and Nick Wayne is just standing there with his mom. And it's like, okay, I like that they're slowly now starting to say Nick really doesn't believe in Christian much anymore, and he's going to eventually break off from him. But it does him no favors when his mommy is standing next to him. Like, I could be wrong here, but it's just like he's going to try to stand up for himself against Christian. Christian's going to push him up against the wall, and he's going to try and like not take shit from Christian. But then his mommy's there. And it's just like, oh, yeah. They kind of need to drop the mommy stuff if they're going to have him go against Christian and try to like stand up for himself and make that baby face turn and whatnot. Now, unless Christian, now they could do a thing where, you know, Christian eventually puts his hands on Shayna Wayne. And so Nick finally has enough and stands up for his mom. But just the way she tried to get in the way and stop Christian. And then like when he was conflicted afterwards and she like tapped him on the shoulder, like, it's going to be okay. It's just like, I don't know if I liked that. Like, they can make it work, but I don't have the trust and the faith. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, they did tease of Nick Wayne, like, possibly break it off from Christian Cage, but, like, the stuff that Christian Cage was saying in this, like, the dead father one, like, your mom had to, like, watch your father die.
Well, he said that for a while about things.
I don't think he's gone that far.
Yeah. He's gone pretty...
Like, he said that... I mean, like, he said, like, your father's dead. Like, he said that stuff multiple times, but, like this stuff recently, I feel like he's going a little too far.
Yeah, I don't know, but the whole... Oh, I signed the contract thinking I was getting a singles match with Cope. Like, what? You're the freaking biggest idiot in the freaking world, you moron. He doesn't know how things work, I guess. I don't know. It was dumb. So then we get MJF. Comes out here and does the same shtick no matter what town he's in. Said, we're here for all these podunk people in this podunk town. And I'm like, well, first off, Fresno is not a podunk town. Podunk means the people are dumb and it's like a small city. Fresno's got over 500,000 people in the population, so that ain't small. And yeah, so I don't know if he's just, oh, I gotta call the city podunk because that's what I do, or if he doesn't really know what podunk means. But he said podunk, and I'm like, that's not no podunk town. Trust me, I know. MJF said, you know, he's got a splitting headache. Well, actually, I didn't write it down in my notes then. Oh no, here it is. Before MJF comes out, I skipped a paragraph. We get a video from, I guess, after the pay-per-view. Lexi Nair's like, I've been trying to get a word with MJF, but all I've been hearing is like loud noises and screaming coming from his locker room after his match with Hangman Page tonight. And so she like kind of sneaks in, and he's like trying to give himself a pep talk in the mirror, calling himself a fraud. Then he punches the mirror and breaks it, and he sees Lexi behind him, kind of in the reflection. He's like, get out of here, and he just runs her off. Then he comes down to the ring. He's got a splitting headache. His hand and his body hurts. But what hurts the most, along with all the schmucks at home and in this podunk city, he should have won that match on Sunday. He said the coward cowboy decided to take a cheap shot like he did in 2019. The fans chant Page's name. Fans chant Page's name, and all they want to see is Hangman come out at this point. So MVP eventually comes out after Swerve, or I'm all kinds of twisted up here. MJF talks for a few more minutes before MVP would then come out and interrupt. He said, hey, it's just me. No Lashley, no Benjamin. Let's talk. He's like, my time with MJF goes back a little ways. I met you when you were, 18 years old? You volunteered to drive me to a documentary film for the low, low price of hearing about the business and getting my opinions. He said the question MJF asked was what impressed MJF the most, or MVP the most. He said, cut to an indie company in Florida. They meet again a couple years later. As MVP mentioned, the drive MVP, and try writing and reading MVP MJF over and over. Like those words kind of just melt together. MJF MVP, MJF MVP. Those acronyms. Anyways, initials, whatever you want to call it. MVP mentions the drive MJF had. Something you could not teach. MJF did everything he said he was going to do back in the day. And that's what makes MVP proud of him. MVP said what makes him not proud of MJF is the way he's handled himself, especially in losing on Sunday. MVP questions why MJF isn't smashing things and hurting people. MVP knows the answer. It's easy. He's lost his edge. Said the boys in the back, they don't fear you or respect you anymore. They do respect and fear the Hurt Syndicate. And maybe that's what you're missing. Maybe you should join us. MVP said he will be able to help MJF. But maybe now it'll be a little bit different. He goes to pass the business card. And it was, not really taken well by MJF. MJF said, he's not the same kid that he was all those years ago. With all due respect, I don't need your help or your advice. He said, I'm MJF. And if the moron fans want to hear it or not, I'm the longest reigning AEW World Champion 406 consecutive days. MVP said to focus on the word was. And he tries to hand him the business card again, leaving and putting it in the coat pocket of MJF. So I don't know where this is going. Like, are we really building up MJF and the Hurt Syndicate with MJF not having a tag partner? Or is Bobby just going to fight him? Or Benjamin I don't know. I have no clue what this was. This is very odd. Or just go for it.
It makes no sense to me because if this was going to lead to like one of the members of the Hurt Syndicate just fighting MJF, for one, this doesn't really make sense because like both of them are the tag champs, so you want both of them to like do tag team stuff right now.
Exactly.
Maybe this is leading to like, I almost said it could have been leading to like Shelton going, Cedric going to AEW, but his 90-day no compete clause isn't even up yet.
No, actually, I wrote that down the other day. It would be May. Maybe I didn't write it down. It's like mid-May, I think is what it is. Yeah, I think it's mid-May. I thought I wrote it down here, but I guess I didn't. But yeah, no. I have no clue where this is leading to or what this is building. Because it's like, if they weren't the tag champions, then it would just lead to one of the Hurt Syndicate guys doing something with MJF. But it's like, they're the tag champions. And so you don't want the tag champions or one of your tag champions to go do a singles feud. Because then it puts the tag titles on ice for a little while. And I mean, unless we're getting MJF and MVP in a match. It's not 100% out of the realm of possibilities.
I thought MVP was done wrestling.
Hold on, I'll tell you something right now. If what I saw earlier today was new, hold on. MVP. So no, MVP's had some matches. He worked. His last match came on January 15th. It was a 6-man tag in AEW. He then worked in December. He worked a match for BCW. He took on Wrecking Ball Legursky, and then he worked the last Bloodsport. But no, I saw a clip of him versus freaking Teddy Hart, and I was like, "Is this new?" Hopefully, it's not new. But yeah, no, I mean, if anything, I could see it maybe leading to an MJF MVP match. But it's like, do we really want to see that? No. So then we go to break. When we come back, Max Caster's in the ring doing his stupid best wrestler alive gimmick. This is one of the dumbest things AEW has. He talks about, I got the most popular shirt on Shop AEW, which proves I was the best member of the Acclaimed. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. He then tries to get his chant going. Let's go, Max, best wrestler alive. Let's go, Max, you're the best wrestler alive. Let's go, Max. And like, it's such a mouthful that he can barely say it. And the crowd's just dead. 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 Cash then calls the fans stupid, which did get a slight reaction. He then says, I'm doing my open challenge, and whoever comes out, well, they're stupid as well to want to fight me. Now came former international champion Tanosuke Takeshita, and the fans start chanting, you fucked up. The caster's like, oh, no, this is the one I wanted. That's not going to work for me. And Takeshita, came out here, and they had pretty much a little squash. Takeshita waffled him with the forearm. Pinned him, but pulled him up at the 2. Hit him with a raging fire, and then pinned him and marched to the back. Nothing to it other than, I guess you could say, Max Caster is just the squash guy. He's the biggest loser, jobber, squash guy they got. Like, this is the worst. What'd you think?
He's basically somebody that says, like, I'm the best wrestler alive, then goes out and gets crushed.
You know what it is? He half thinks he's the Brooklyn Brawler where, yeah, I'm going to lose every match, but they're still going to like me. No. That was what the Brooklyn Brawler was. Brooklyn Brawler lost every match, but the fans were still always kind of behind him and thought he was kind of cool to an extent. But calling himself the best wrestler alive and saying, I got the most popular shirt, yeah, no. That's where it falls off the rails and just gets stupid as stupid.
Wasn't the Brooklyn Brawler also Doink the Clown?
No.
At one point?
I don't think so. I know a few people have played Doink the Clown, like, it's on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, no, he was never, no, he might have been. This is something I didn't know. When was he Doink?
Probably like early 2000s.
I'll tell you right now.
I know one of the guys that played Doink the Clown, like, passed away already.
Yeah. 1993? It says, let's see, what is this? I'm looking at the Wikipedia. It says, in 1993, 1994, he had a number of different gimmicks, and at one point, WWF decided to shelf his gimmick, and he was reassigned to temporarily be the gimmick of Doink the Clown, after the gimmick was taken away from Matt Bourne. Wrestling as Doink, he was winless against Bret Hart, 1-2-3 Kid, Bam Bam Bigelow, and others. Still in the clown gimmick, Lombardi made his first appearance in the United States Wrestling Association in Louisville, Kentucky. So it was in the mid-90s. He did it one other time in like 97. And yeah, you're right here. So in 2006, Brooklyn Brawler appeared as Doink the Clown when he came out to the ring with Eugene during Eugene's match with Umaga. That's probably what you're remembering, maybe. I don't know.
So then, who was Doink the Clown in 2012 when he fought Heath Slater?
Doink. Clown. Hold on. Doink. Clown versus. That's a good question. Let's see. It could have been still him. Hold on. I haven't got that far down in his wiki, I guess. This says it wasn't him. So let's see. Doink the Clown versus Heath Slater. Chad, if you know, just let me know. I'm not seeing it say who it was. Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's see. Here we go. Doink the Clown, the gimmick. Who played Doink the Clown last? And I don't know. Wait, play by Super 2005. On July 2nd, 2012. On Raw. He appeared. Maybe it was Brooklyn Brawler. This was saying played by Nick Dinsmore in 2003. Showed up in the APA Barroom Brawl. He was selected by Rhino to face Chris Benoit. So at one point it was Eugene. Then in 2005, so yeah, that point it was Brooklyn Brawler. It seems like, based off of what Wikipedia says. And in 2012, it was still Brooklyn Brawler.
Huh. Yeah, it was Brooklyn Brawler in 2012.
That's what I can find. Okay.
Yeah, there was like a total of 3 people that played Doink the Clown over the years.
There was, I can tell you how many. There were, it was 1, 2, I want to say reading this 4 in WWF and E. So in WWE, WWF, there are 4. This is what it looks like. Wait, who was it at WrestleMania? Yeah, 4. Because if you count WrestleMania 17, Rey Apollo used did the gimmick. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, no. This Max Caster, best wrestler alive, I'm going to lose every match in an open challenge thing is the dumbest I've seen in forever. Then we got footage of Chris Jericho in the Learning Tree attacking Gravity and Bandito with a baseball bat before his ROH title match could take place at Revolution. Jericho unmasked Gravity and basically told Bandito, you know, that's the word. It's the gravity of the situation. There's not much to it. They're still building up that. I guess they're still building up him and Bandito again. I don't know. That's what it seems like. That they may have him defend again against Bandito, even though they already beat Bandito. So we got Willow Nightingale versus Penelope Ford. This wasn't a bad match. It started slow, but they really got the crowd and picked it up halfway through. There was an early shoulder tackle by Nightingale, who blocked the Cazadora into a body slam and a low cross for a 2. Nightingale missed with a lariat, but managed a snap suplex. Ford tried her Matrix Bridge and sent Nightingale into the corner with a drop kick to the spine and a step-up drop knee. After the break, Ford was in control, but Nightingale did fire back with a series of lariats. There's a high boot that led to a big spine buster for a near fall. Ford slid out of the ring, slid out of a doctor bomb, and then tried to backslide, but Nightingale powered into a gory special. At one point, Ford hit a top rope crossbody and got a 2 off of it before licking Nightingale. And I'm like, why are we doing this licking thing? She licks all her opponents. Like, fuck that. No, thank you. Taz said, that's pretty wacky. Nightingale responded with a running power slam. Ford got a flash cradle for a 2. Both traded kicks as Ford successfully hit her Matrix Stunner. She tried again, only to be pounced clear across the ring, with Willow picking up the victory. So what do you think of the match before we get to the post-match stuff?
I mean, that match is good. You know, any Willow Nightingale match, you know, the fans always love her, so always going to get a good reaction. We
go into this match, and I'm like, why are we doing this match? Penelope's been working with Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa and Megan Bayne. And it's like the last we saw Willow, she was going up against, helping cope against the Death Riders and Marina. So where does this make any sense? And then we get a post-match. Post-match, Ford cracked Nightingale in the ribs and the back of the chair and kept the attack going until Chris Statlander would come down to make the save. Ford tried a chair shot, but Statlander ducked it and hit a dropkick, sending her to the floor after hitting her in the face with a chair. Statlander helped Nightingale up, who didn't realize who it was initially, and shoved her away. The two ladies then stared at each other until Megan Bayne would hit the ring, hit a double clothesline on both before laying out Statlander with an F5 to stand tall for the second time in the night. And I'm like, wait. We're still doing Megan Bayne and Chris Statlander, even though Megan Bayne attacked Toni Storm earlier. What the this made no sense. All of this, like none of this. It was so just like, what? Earlier, you make it seem like Megan Bayne's moved on to bigger, better things, and now she's still just fucking around with Chris Statlander? Huh? What are your thoughts?
I don't even know. I don't.
Yeah, very weird. So we go backstage, and Mercedes Moné can't really speak much. She got kicked right in the throat by Momo Watanabe and bruised her larynx. So she's like, I can't. Renee, I need your help. So Renee did the Fresno, say hello to your CEO. Paquette said Monet requested Billy Starks to be here. And I'm like, interesting. We're getting more Billy on AEW TV than we get of the ROH Women's Champion, Athena, who's amazing. And I'll freaking harp on this for days, forever. I love Athena. I think Athena's amazing and great, and probably the number 3 wrestler on the female side that they have behind Toni Storm and Mariah May, if not better than Mariah May. And you got her locked in purgatory in ROH. Go for it.
Athena's basically like the forever champion in Ring of Honor. She's never losing it.
And Toni mentioned that in her promo. I forgot to say it earlier. She's like, we've got a champion that keeps his briefcase or keeps his title in a briefcase. We've got a belt collector and a forever champion. She mentioned Athena. She said, we got a forever champion. I forgot to say that earlier. But it's just like, what is going on? Is it Athena that wants to stay in ROH and be the face of ROH? I don't know. Anyways.
I feel like it's more Toni than her, though, because I think Toni's whole thing is like, we gotta have her like establish like Ring of Honor, and if people want to see her so bad, then why not just pay me to see her on Ring of Honor?
But then what about the Ring of Honor men's title? And like, Jericho was always on the show. Mark Briscoe was always on the AEW show when he was a champion. I don't know. It's a whole thing.
I feel like the whole thing with Athena, like, I'm pretty sure someone asked Toni in a press conference, like, how come Athena's never on AEW for how great she is? And like he said, well, if people really like her so much, then why not just like, she can like try to establish Ring of Honor, then you guys can just pay me so you guys can see her on Ring of Honor if you guys think she's so great.
Exactly. So Billy Starks is here, and she's like, hey, I'm accomplished just like you. We're kind of not that dissimilar. I was the inaugural ROH TV champion at the age of 19, and we both started in this business early, young. Starks to the Monet says money changes everything. And next week, she's looking to become a champion. Monet coughed and said Starks is out of her league. Or Starks is out of her league as far as wanting to challenge Mercedes. She then shoved Starks in the face and said, next week, there's a price to pay when you mess with Mercedes Moné. So did they announce this match official? I didn't see it. If they officially announced Mercedes defending against Billy Stark. That I didn't see.
I don't know. I mean, I would love to see Billy Starks take the belt off of Mercedes.
That ain't gonna happen.
Oh, I mean, who else is going to do it? Harley Cameron?
Oh, if it was going to be Harley, they would have done it at the Australia show. Because what better way to have Harley win the title in Australia? Like, yeah, I don't see anything on their social media saying if this match is official. Because I never saw a graphic on the screen for it. Hold on. They didn't even post this segment on their... Wow. They didn't even post a clip of this segment. That's how insignificant it was. It literally goes from, there's a clip of the post match of the women's match, and then a clip of Will Ospreay. There's no mention on the AEW Twitter account of this segment even happening. Damn. That stinks. There is a Mike Bailey is All Elite graphic, though. We knew he was, but now they've told us, hey, it's official. Mike Bailey is All Elite. Speaking of Will Ospreay, go for it.
Do you think this is something that's going to worry me a little bit? I kind of worry what they're going to do with Mike Bailey is they're going to push him to the moon at first, where he's going to lose, and then they're going to shove him in the Ring of Honor.
I hope not, but I wouldn't rule it out because that's what they do with a lot of people.
They did it with Deonna Purrazzo, which was kind of surprising.
She makes appearances here and there on like Collision.
Even Taya Valkyrie though, like,
well, both of them
they should be using.
Both of them, they're great, but now they're a group, the Vendetta, in basically a Collision act.
And they got Taya Valkyrie with like Johnny TV doing stuff with the MXM collection.
Well, yes and no. She's doing stuff with both Johnny and Deonna. She's like doing both groups or whatever, I guess you would. Because she's with Johnny, but then she's also part of the Vendetta with Deonna. It's the whole thing. Like I said, if you don't watch Collision, you probably wouldn't even know any of it anyways.
You're right. I don't watch Collision for obvious reasons.
Right. Anywho, speaking of Will Ospreay, he came out and actually gave us some newsworthy stuff. Sorta. Kinda. So Schiavone welcomes Will Ospreay to the ring, and he's moving all gingerly. He's limping, and he's all taped up. And he's like, yeah, I got this thing up here to keep my head together. I got stitches. He's like, he lifts up his shirt, and he goes, I got this bandage here. I don't even know why, but they bandaged me up down here, too. It's crazy that I'm still standing. Ospreay said that, he was scared for his life at Revolution. Thanks to everybody and their support, carried him through. He said, one day I do see Kyle Fletcher as a world champion. If they stand in this ring again, he'll be the better man once more. Ospreay said, but I need your help. I'm in a little bit of a pickle with the wife. I had to lie to her. The day before the match, she asked me not to do anything dumb off the top of the cage, and I did. Ospreay said he's in his 30s, and he's not doing anything stupid. He told his wife, I'm in my 30s. I'm not doing anything stupid off the cage. Little does she know. He said he went to the back and saw 15 missed calls after the match from the misses. He couldn't believe that he jumped off the flipping cage. Ospreay then promised to cook her dinner and make it a damn good one. Schiavone then said, okay, cool, but what's next for Will Ospreay? And Ospreay said, I want to be the guy here in AEW. I want to be the champion. I see Swerve has got himself a title shot. Cope has got himself a title shot. Well, I want one as well. But when and where is the question. He's like, I want to do it on the biggest stage of all. And he looks up at the sign that says All in Texas. He says, I want to do it there. And to do that, I am entering myself into the Owen Hart tournament. He said, if it's against Cope, it'll be a pleasure to meet him in the ring for the first time. If it's against Strickland, I can't wait for the rematch. And if it's Moxley, the King, a word in advance, an assassin is coming for your throne. Ospreay says he wants to be the guy because he knows he can do it and he can be it. He wants to be the world champion because his name is Will Ospreay and he is on another level. So as we talked about earlier, he confirmed a couple things. He will be in the Owen, and the winner of the Owen once again will get the main event, the title shot at All In. What'd you think of Ospreay's promo here?
It was pretty good. Well, it also all just depends who else is going to be in the Owen as well. Because I feel like Ospreay being the first person in the Owen makes it feel like, oh, he might actually win it.
Well, I can see it being him and John Moxley as the main event of All In. I think would draw. I think it would be a really good match. Either that or him and Swerve. Like if they do decide to put the title on Swerve at Dynasty, I can see either of those matches being All In main event caliber matches. So, like you said, we got to see who else is in this tournament. But it's like, who else really feels like they're ready to challenge for the world title? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I'm an early prediction right here. I'm going to say Ospreay wins it all. not just the Owen, but he wins the title at All In. And the closing shot of All In is Will Ospreay with the AEW World title. So Renee Paquette's backstage with Switchblade Jay White, who mocks Ospreay, the Ospreay chant, saying Willie really is on another level, and sometime soon they'll see each other in the ring again. White. So it's like White was teasing maybe he wants to be in the Owen, but doesn't say it, I guess. I don't know. But White congratulates Ospreay on his win at Revolution. If he wants the world title at All In, well, they're going to have to keep protecting him from Jay White. I'm like, what? Why are we feuding all of a sudden? Ospreay and Jay White out of nowhere, but whatever. Paquette asked what happened at Revolution, and White said everyone wants to know if he hit Cope on purpose or by accident, and asked Paquette, what do you think? Fresno, what do you think? And the crowd just, I don't even know what they said. They just got a pop because he said Fresno. White said he did not hit Cope on purpose, as he's done everything to win the title from Jon Moxley, but the rat, Wheeler Yuta, saved his king. He said he'll be damned if he'll let anyone stop him from fulfilling his destiny of becoming AEW World Champion. So it's like they kind of teased maybe he's going to be in the Owen as well. He wants to go for the title, and right now that is the only way technically we know of to earn a shot at the belt. Any thoughts?
It was cool. I mean,
Right.
I don't really know what else to say about this, really. I don't.
Right. So moving forward, we got more Renee. She approaches Hangman Adam Page, and she was attempting to ask him about Revolution when all of a sudden MJF walks past. Page asked if he wants to finish breaking his neck. Page said last week MJF tried to set him on fire. But when he does something like that, he really has to mean it. However, Sunday, MJF let the mask slip. Page realized MJF cares what the fans think of him. MJF said that he's glad Page thinks he wasn't going to set him on fire. He will call Page's bluff. Page doesn't realize what's next. Page had a fluke victory, but MJF goes on to become a multi-time world champion, first ballot Hall of Famer, and greatest of all time. While Page fails to reach the pinnacle, only to tumble all the way down, wallowing in his own self-pity. When Page's mask slips, Page doesn't think he deserves the fans' love, and he's right. Sooner than later, the fans will grow tired of thinking Page will win the big one, when he never actually will. MJF will win it over and over again, laughing in Page's face, laughing at Page up the mountain. Page said, they'll see, won't they? MJF walks away, and Excalibur said that these two will be intertwined for years to come. They're trying to build these guys up like Rock and Austin, or Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, or Triple H and Shawn Michaels, like the destined rivals to always come back to each other throughout the years. So, I don't know. I'm like, we're really doing this already? Like, we had the blow off at the pay-per-view. I don't need more.
Yeah, it is frustrating.
Like, I get where they're going with it. They'll be like, hey, these are the two guys that we want to be like two of the top guys for many years to come. So just know they're going to meet multiple more times in the future. But it's like, do we really need to know that? Do they have to tell us that? Because it kind of was just known. But then we have our main event. Let me get the poll going before we get to the main event. What did you think? Dynamite. Hey, I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. So if you're watching on Twitch, the poll is now live. Ooh, I didn't do a thread. Actually, I don't think I did any of the damn polls. Let's do those really fast. Hold on. I forgot to do all the polls. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. This will be quick. We'll just do a Twitter poll, and then we'll do a community poll. I won't do the threads poll. I forgot to do all the polls. I was trying to do like 3 different things at the same time when we were going live. Like I said, I've become very, very busy. I liked it. It's all right. Oh, wait, nope. That's the wrong thing. Text poll. What did you think of Dynamite? I liked it. It was all right. And then I didn't like it. All right, now their polls are live. Let's get this last one here. I liked it. It was all right. But as far as our main event does go, it was Orange Cassidy versus Hechicero, and it was fine. I mean, it wasn't anything special in my opinion. I feel like we've seen matches like this before, like Orange Cassidy and Phoenix and stuff like that. And so it's like when Orange Cassidy works with a Lucha guy, it all kind of just feels the same. And I'm going to be honest, I would have rather seen, if you wanted one of these tournament matches in the main event, I would have rather seen the Mike Bailey one, because A, that was the better match, and B, you have a debut in the main event. So that's what I would have done.
Yeah. Yeah, once I found out this was the main event, I was like, ew, this is the main event?
And it's nothing against Orange Cassidy and Hechicero, but it's just like, it's Hechicero. And it's like we see him here and there, and he never really wins in AEW. So, I don't know. I would have rather had the Mike Bailey match, and then you have the debut. Because, you could have, what they should have done, and they didn't really do this at all. They should have been teasing and building. Hey, we've got that Moros versus Wildcard match later on. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And they should have kept having commentary tease it and build it and build it and build it. And then when we get to that main event, it's like, oh my God, who can it be? Who can it be? Who can it be? Oh shit, it's Mike Bailey, But if you didn't even know that this match was happening, you wouldn't have known, and so you wouldn't have had the anticipation. And even if you did know before we got the Mike Bailey Mortos match, you probably would have forgot anyways. That's the one thing that they need to do better. Throughout shows, hype up big matches, especially if it's going to lead to a big moment like a new debut. But Jim Ross joined commentary for this match and put over Mike Bailey from earlier in the night. And as the match begins, Hechicero blocked Cassidy from going to the pockets. Cassidy walked to the top rope, put one hand in his pocket before Hechicero stepped away. Cassidy then put the brakes on and put both hands in the pockets before hitting a snap, drop kick, and a kip up. Hechicero then tried a handspring but landed right on his head, allowing a Cassidy roll up with no hands before faking a dive and a kip up as Hechicero took a powder into a commercial break. During the break, Hechicero targeted the arm, and when things returned from the break, Hechicero hung Cassidy over the top rope before a dragon screw between the ropes. Cassidy then managed a crossbody off the top, but couldn't follow with a spinning DDT, allowing a swinging hammerlock backbreaker by Hechicero for a 2. Cassidy answered with a Stun Dog Millionaire and a spinning DDT, but tried to kip up with a huge leg. And his leg gave out. Cassidy signaled for an orange punch, but his arm was injured and he couldn't really get it all. He's kind of slow to the top, but then dove off with an armbar, eventually getting the rope break. Cassidy tried another Stun Dog Millionaire, but was blocked. An orange punch was also blocked as Hechicero tried to swing for the torture rack, only for Cassidy to catch him in the mousetrap and kid him out of nowhere. Yeah, this match was a lot of Orange Cassidy's beat up and can't do his move. Orange Cassidy's beat up and can't do his move. And then he just catches him at the end. Honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, this match is just okay and a little boring. This was not main event caliber. What'd you think?
Yeah, this was a pretty boring main event, if I'm being completely honest. Once they said this is the main event, I was like, ugh, this is not going to be very exciting.
Like, I expected a little bit more out of it, but the whole, it's Orange Cassidy, so he's got to be the underdog. He's got to fight from the bottom. He's got to make his way up and then get that one. Like, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. As a main event, especially didn't do it for me. But afterwards, Mike Bailey walked out on the stage and bowed to Orange Cassidy as they both now advance to the 4-way next week to see who faces Omega at Dynasty. So, yeah, that is what we got. We got a couple of things announced for Collision. Ricochet versus Shibata in a tournament match. Mark Briscoe, Mark Davis in a tournament match. And then FTR will randomly take on the team of Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. That's random because their boy Daniel Garcia literally teamed with those two guys at the pay-per-view on the pre-show. What? Okay. So, and then next week, Jon Moxley and Cope in a street fight for the title. Mike Bailey, Orange Cassidy, and 2 others in the finals of the tournament. And then I assume Mercedes versus Billy Starks, but I don't know for sure. And I don't even know if the title's on the line. So we'll see how that all does go. But any closing thoughts here while I check these polls?
I mean, it was a decent Dynamite. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a great Dynamite, but it was decent. I mean, the one thing I do like is that they're finally starting to build up to Dynasty and all in.
Well, yeah, they had to get through the Revolution show, and they did a okay. It's because Tony's good when he's got time to build things up. He's not the best when he's got to do things in a quicker manner. You know what I mean? Like now that they have more pay-per-views, he's got less time to build things, and so he tries to rush. I feel like he rushes things because he feels like he's got to rush it to get it. I don't know. As far as the polls do go, as far as Twitter, 60% didn't like. Granted, we didn't get many votes because I did these way too late. 60% didn't like it. 40% did like it. As far as the community poll, 65% liked it. 29% didn't like it. And 6% thought it was just all right. Looking at the live poll, 83% liked the show. 17% thought it was just all right. And everybody that voted on Twitch liked the show. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Luke, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me over at Twitter X at Petke_21, and you can also find me over at Twitch at Young Grasshopper Luke.
With that, guys, have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you back here on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Also, keep an eye out on the community tab and social media, because since SmackDown is in Italy, and if you have your VPN, you can watch SmackDown early. We're probably going to do the SmackDown review early as well. So I don't know exactly what time, but I'll let you guys know ahead of time once SmackDown starts. I'll be like, hey, SmackDown's starting now. We're going live in X amount of time. Boom, be ready. We're not doing it at the regular time slot. Probably every Raw and SmackDown review for the next couple of weeks are going to be done early because they're going to air earlier on Netflix. So just a heads up for all of that. But with that, have a great night. Have a great week. And we'll see you next time.